Hey world. So this one is for the fellas and even for the ladies if you want to listen in. I'm Gabrielle. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nothing but love here. So to all the fellas, this is to help you out if you're willing to listen to someone who chose to face myself and go in and through God when I was in my singleness process to become and be transformed by God. Okay, through a personal, intimate covenant and relationship and marriage with God, first and foremost, facing me, the truth about me, into a Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, virtuous woman / wife. A lot of times when I was growing up, even now, I'm always hearing black fellas, black males who are not, they don't have their manhood yet. They don't even know who they are. They're not even in the will of God. Or they're religious, having a form of godliness, but denying the power. But I always hear a lot of black males, and sometimes even Caucasian males, and certain males, like I said, who mostly are not in God's will. They're not cultivators. They don't even know their role and function and purpose as a male. They still don't have their manhood. Satan took their manhood in their childhood. But they're always saying, man, where all the good women at, and ain't no good women out here, just female bashing. And I come to let you know that according to God, there's always good women, but there's a title for those kind of good women that you need. But the question is, are you who they need? Are you a cultivating man of God, a kingdom citizen? Are you in God's will for them? Have you gone through your singleness process through God in a personal marriage and relationship, first and foremost with God, facing the truth, the ugly, wicked, good, bad, perverted, sexual, immoral truth about yourself as a male, or what you struggle with, where you're toxic at, or narcissistic, or prideful, or selfish nature, etc. at. Because a lot of you males who are not in God's will and in an identity crisis yourself, you want something at the top of the shelf and you're at the bottom of the barrel, according to God. You want the Proverbs 31 woman / wife, and you wondering where she's at. You can't find her because you're not in God's will and you're not going in and through God. You won't find the virtuous woman and wife you need that's in God's will for you in a strip club, going to Beyonce concerts or Rihanna concerts, watching BET, in places that your footsteps should not be ordered. If you want, fellas, a virtuous woman / wife that you need, and you want to know what that looks like, God already answered you in the Bible. Oh, Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, fellas. And for those, so many of you fellas, you keep on getting into cycles with the opposite type of woman, which God calls the immoral woman, meaning she's not in God's will, and you keep attracting these immoral females out of God's will, because more than likely in your childhood, throughout your childhood, that's what you saw with females, whether it was your mom, grandmother, great-grandmother, cousins, aunties, nieces. That's what you saw them dealing with and attracting and functioning as, was immoral women, meaning they're not in God's will. They will lead, seduce, and entice men to hell. They always attracting males who don't know who they are, or religious males of different denominations, from Christianity to Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Muslims, you name it, because they're not anchored in God. They have a form of godliness, but denying the power. So there's a major difference. And in case you didn't know, fellas, you keep on entertaining and being deceived by, manipulated by, betrayed by, cheated on by these immoral women, because you're not choosing to become and be a prudent man in God's will to resist lust of the flesh and get healed and delivered from an identity crisis that stirs from and stems from your bad parenting foundation, where love was misrepresented before your eyes as a little boy concerning your parents. And you need to sit and look at your parents' relationship. Was that a godly relationship? Because if it wasn't, that's why you're like you are dysfunctional and got multiple children with multiple people, or you done had a child or children with the wrong women, immoral women. An immoral woman is not sent by God. A virtuous woman is presented to you by God, and he leads you to find her when you're in his will. See, God is a God of order. Okay, he's got an order, fellas. He don't care what you're struggling with, or if you're struggling with your sexuality and the genders because you were molested by men and women. He don't care about the perversions you're into sexually. He cares about you coming to him, fellas, and learning and gleaning from him and being fed by every word that comes out of his mouth and facing what you've been through in your childhood, the good, the bad, the ugly, the sexually demonic traumatizations. That's what he cares about you coming to him to face, so that you can encounter and experience a godly, Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, virtuous woman / wife in God's will, like Esther in the Bible, like Deborah or Deborah in the Bible, like Ruth, who is the truth in the Bible. Now, on the opposite side of that, you have Sapphira, who's the immoral woman. Jezebel, immoral woman. Okay? So, those are examples of immoral woman. So, fellas, females, if you want to know what an immoral woman, because if you're a female, you may be an immoral woman. I used to be one. I came through a bloodline of females like that. I chose to get delivered. There's no shame in my game. I've been set free and healed. I'm not shamed. I chose to let God transform me and renew me and do the work in me and crucify my flesh. And I resist being drawn away by the lust of the flesh into a Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, virtuous woman / wife, which is why I am now anointed and qualified by God for a godly marriage with a cultivating man of God. So fellas, females, you can study Proverbs chapter 5. God already tells you, fellas, about an immoral woman and what she is and who she pursues and leads to death, because the wages of sin is death. So, fellas, it's not the immoral woman's fault that you keep on sleeping with big booty girls, excuse me, having children with the wrong type of immoral females, all on Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, trying to figure out if you the father or not, on paternity court tests, being embarrassed, put to shame, breaking down, crying. That's your fault for not going to God to face where's your manhood, the truth about you're not a man yet. Your manhood has not been restored to you. You're in a severe identity crisis because you don't love you. If you love you, you wouldn't be in strip clubs, bending these immoral females over, having sex with them in the lap dance rooms and threesomes, menage a trois, at swingers, all kind of stuff you're doing. Doing booty calls, one night stands with them, having sex in a bathroom at a club, at a restaurant, at a pool hall, with all these different type of immoral females because they got big booties, their breasts is all out, their gifts is all unwrapped, and all they doing is luring you away from God to their gods. And you're going to end up like Samson with Delilah. Delilah is an immoral woman. She's in the Bible. God already done exposed to you all how game goes with a immoral woman, fellas. It's not God's fault. It's not the immoral woman's fault. When you don't go to God as a male and face the truth that you don't have your manhood. Because if you're a man, you become the morals, godly morals. You let God transform and renew you into his morals, his principles, his laws. And you become a cultivating man. A cultivating man is someone that brings the best out of everything and everyone in him, around him, including himself. He's not moved by a big booty, nice sized breasts, tatted up, twerking and booty clapping and booty cheeks and all that kind of stuff, and bow-legging this and bending the corner and hitting that and splitting that and getting between this and threesomes and booty calls and one night stands. That does not move a godly man who's a kingdom citizen, who is anchored in God or being worked on by God and letting God do the work in him. Only a simpleton male, like Proverbs says, is drawn away by the lust of his flesh, like how David chose to be, instead of resisting but coming into agreement with lust of the flesh and booties and breasts and nice looking smiles and a woman's voice and how she sound and her lip gloss be popping and all this other foolery of an immoral woman. So again, fellas, hold on one second. Sorry about that. So again, fellas, this is for you, because you are the root and source and foundation for family and the human race. And if you remember, the game didn't change. We all didn't fall short of the glory of God until Adam came into agreement with what Eve entertained. It was when Adam chose to get out of the will of God, everything shifted. Go back and study Genesis chapter 2. And God came to first and foremost deal with Adam, because he said, Adam, where are you? Meaning, you got out of my will, bruh. You got out of my will, homeboy. You got out of my will, son. You've lost dominion. You've got out of your position in your will, in my will. So you don't have to believe me. Ask God yourself, fellas. But the majority of males, even in these times, do not have their manhood. Satan was able to come and take it from you. He snatched it from you either through molestation. That's why you're into homosexuality, or you're bisexual. You're struggling with it. You don't want to have sex with men or let them do oral sex or sexual pleasures on you in the midnight hours, even though you're in ministry, you're a musician or whatever you do or not. But you have yet to go to God and face that raw truth of why you're still struggling in sexual immoralities and abominations and unnatural actions with both genders and with men. Your manhood has not been restored back to you yet. Sagging your pants, degrading women in your videos, sleeping with this one and that one because they got nice booty, breasts, and thighs, and they shape, and how they talk and smile and got dimples. Excuse me. Or they got money or whatever. Your manhood has not been restored to you yet. And the signs are all there to a discerning eye, to a prophetic eye, to a seer who can see spiritually. Cussing, trying to look like Chris Brown and them or what you see in videos. Your manhood has not been restored to you yet. And that's why you're still fooling with little girls in adult bodies who don't have their womanhood, which is immoral women. That's part of an immoral woman. She don't have her womanhood. She's a little girl crying out who has yet to be restored from the traumas and the demonic experiences she's had throughout her childhood. And until we all go to God and let God and face the truth about what the truth is with us, the raw, unfiltered truth, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. You just become another demonic statistic out on these streets where the enemy is killing, stealing, and destroying not only you one day at a time, 1 second at a time, but also if you have children, your seed too. Because when you deal with an immoral woman, your seed will be choked out by what's in her life demonically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, even physically. Your seed is going to suffer. It's guaranteed. Until you as a male go to God and face the truth and confess it and face it and begin to embrace that you have yet to have your manhood restored to you, your healing and deliverance come to you, all because the issue is you. Fellas, it's not the females that's the problem. Yeah, everybody got issues, but you have to face the issue within you while you keep choosing and being drawn away by immoral females that God did not send to you, but Satan is presenting to you. Okay? So if you have any questions or comments, this video is specifically for the fellas, and females you're welcome to listen to because you may be an immoral woman temporarily. Let's face the truth. Let's keep it real, keep it 100, whatever you want to say, yes, all that stuff. Immoral female is an immoral female. A virtuous woman / wife is a virtuous woman / wife. Again, if fellas, you need to know what is the immoral woman, go to Proverbs in the Bible, chapter 5. Ask God to open your eyes and ears and let him do the work in you. If you want to know what the proverb, a virtuous wife is, who you need in your life and for your seed, go to Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10 through 31. That's the Proverbs 31, woman / wife. God already told y'all who to stay away from, and he told you who to receive. It's up to you what you choose to believe. God is not at fault when you keep entertaining immoral women. When he warned you, stay away from that. But you're going to learn. Sometimes you got to learn the hard way because obedience is better than sacrifice. The sad part is sometimes your seed have to pay because of your sins with the immoral woman. Be encouraged. If you have any questions or comments, I'm Gabrielle. Feel free to ask me. It's all love, respectfully. Till next time.